Have you ever been told that men think about sex all the time while women don't really enjoy it? Well, brace yourself, because that's just one of the many myths about sexuality we're going to bust today. Sexuality isn't just about whether someone's a gay or straight. It's a rich, multi-layered part of who you are that goes way beyond orientation. Here's what makes up your sexuality: the gender you were socialized as, your values around sex, your body's response to desire, past experiences, even how you relate to your own body. Surprising, right? 1. The big misunderstanding: sex versus gender. Here's where a lot of confusion begins. Sex and gender are not the same. Your sex is assigned at birth based on your biology, but your gender is how you identify and express yourself. If these match up, you're considered cisgender. If not, you might identify as transgender, non-binary, or another gender. But what about when we talk about men and women in discussions of sexuality? Typically, people assume we're only talking about cisgender men and women. This overlooks many folks who don't fit that binary. Let's change that by keeping this conversation inclusive of all identities. 2. The cultural mold shapes us. You may have heard that men are naturally more aggressive and driven when it comes to sex, while women are less interested. But guess what? Research has shown that these so-called natural tendencies aren't as hardwired as they seem. Clinical sexologist Dr. Sarah Melankin emphasizes that how people express sexuality is largely influenced by how they're raised. Think about it: boys are often encouraged to explore their sexuality openly. Masturbation? That's normal, they hear. Girls, on the other hand, often grow up with messages that it's shameful or that sex should be kept under lock and key until marriage. This is the sexual double standard at work. 3. The real impact of upbringing. In many cultures, boys are told that being sexually active boosts their social status, while girls are taught that the same behavior makes them less than. This leads to an environment where men might feel pressured to have more sexual partners, while women may be shamed even for expressing interest. It sounds unfair because it is. And it affects everyone. For men, it can mean feeling inadequate if they haven't had many partners. For women, it can lead to sexual shame and repression. The kicker? This isn't because of biology, it's culture. 4. Do women enjoy sex? The myth debunked. A big misconception is that women don't enjoy sex as much as men do. Here's the truth: women do enjoy sex, and just as much as men. Researcher Dr. Justin Lemiller points out that this myth stems from societal expectations, not reality. Masturbation is one way people learn about their bodies and their capacity for pleasure. And despite outdated beliefs, people of all genders masturbate. This is how many discover what they like and what feels good. So why the stigma? Simple: society still treats men's pleasure as expected and women's as secondary. 5. The pleasure gap. Yes, the pleasure gap is real, but it's not rooted in biology. Lemiller explains that women's pleasure has often been overlooked in sex education, which leads to the idea that they're less interested in sex. In reality, this neglect skews our understanding and leaves women's needs on the back burner. This pleasure gap is the reason many women feel unfulfilled sexually. When pleasure becomes a priority for all partners involved, the experience can be equally satisfying for everyone. 6. Orgasms and beyond, the similarities across genders. So, do orgasms feel different depending on gender? The answer might surprise you. While people with vulvas and people with penises may experience orgasm through different means, their descriptions of what an orgasm feels like are often strikingly similar. Both cisgender men and women describe orgasm as a mix of intense pleasure, relaxation, and euphoria. Words like flooding, shooting, and throbbing are commonly used. This suggests that, despite physical differences, the emotional and physical peak of orgasm is shared across genders. 7. Sexual struggles, more alike than different. Many believe that sexual dysfunction differs greatly between men and women. Not exactly true. According to Dr. Lemiller, the most common issue across all genders is low sexual interest. That said, the causes can vary. Factors like trauma, mental health, and relationship dynamics play major roles. For instance, past trauma can create barriers to sexual pleasure. This is true for people of any gender. Stress, anxiety, and a history of negative sexual experiences can impact how someone experiences desire and pleasure. 8. The role of trauma and mental health. Any form of trauma can mess with your body's response to intimacy, affecting trust and desire. This isn't just about sexual trauma. Other types of trauma, like a difficult childhood or major accidents, can also have long-term effects. Melanchthon highlights that trauma changes how your nervous system functions, which can make pleasure difficult. On top of that, stress and mental health issues like anxiety and depression often decrease libido and arousal. 9. Are men really more sexual? You've probably heard the idea that men are more interested in sex than women. But what if this isn't the whole picture? While studies may show that cisgender men report thinking about sex more frequently, that doesn't mean they have a higher capacity for desire or pleasure. Men are simply socialized to be more open about their sexuality. Women, due to cultural conditioning, often underreport their sexual thoughts and desires. So when we remove these cultural lenses, the difference is much smaller than you might think. 10. Final thoughts. A call for inclusion. Here's what's missing from many discussions: non-binary and gender non-conforming folks. While research often skips them, it's crucial to note that they, too, experience the same cultural pressures and misunderstandings. They navigate a world that frequently tries to box them into narrow definitions of sexuality that don't fit. Ultimately, we need to reframe how we talk about sexual differences. It's not about biology dictating everything, but about understanding the layers of upbringing, culture, personal experiences, and mental health. Wrap up: sexuality is personal and complex. The myths about gender differences in sex stem from deep-seated cultural narratives, not biological truths. Let's rethink the way we talk about sex, making room for all genders to embrace their desires openly and honestly. Because at the end of the day, understanding sexuality is about understanding ourselves, with all the similarities and differences that come with being human. Remember, sexual pleasure and desire aren't determined by whether you're male or female. They are shaped by your experiences, your culture, and, most importantly, your relationship with yourself.